Hi, it's a step off the cliff and a launch into trust again. I have it set to widescreen just in case the sun shines the right way and we get a few rainbows here. It was so beautiful a minute ago, but by the time I got settled in, that can come and go pretty quickly with the angle of the sun. So, um, I hope a lot of us are not just stepping into heart, but stepping into this self-observation. My whole life has been changed since I turned my focus inward instead of outward. That change has empowered so many things. And I just feel that there's been a lot of, I'll use the word growth, but it's growth into or expansion or integration into the greater self. And I don't know about you, that's my one or main desire. I'm focused on integrating with the fullness of being. And you start where you are. So the being I start with is the one with an incarnation here. And just to fully integrate the incarnation here is interesting. We think we're fully ourselves, but when you consider that whether or not we use 10% or 100% of the brain, the mind, I believe, is where that 10% thing applies, being that's the portion of the mind we're conscious of on a daily basis in our regular, it's a beta brainwave state, the regular waking alert consciousness. And so even were I to not spread it any farther than just integrating this into this wholeness, the subconscious and the unconscious hold quite a lot that the conscious mind would dearly love to get a hold of and make some changes in. And so a couple of years ago, I spent some time with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I'm one for free will and choosing my own beliefs. And in order to adopt new beliefs, they will clash with what you already have going as what we're programmed with when we're little, usually before the age of 7. It goes straight into programming. Did you know we're not in beta brainwave state until about the age of 7? And so everything kind of just goes straight into programming for a child. And so the programming has to change in order to make way for the new beliefs. And in just doing the watch and observe thing, I've been able to see this. I mean, I didn't get this from some book, folks. I got it from my own life experience, just watching what's going on here. And you put a new belief in, and shortly thereafter, if not immediately, things within you will challenge it, will come up. And so you have some difficulty there, some dissonance anyway. I mean, it's not necessarily difficult, it's just dissonant. And so we get to use our free will again to say yay or nay to the old beliefs that are conflicting with the new ones. And so we make our best choice and we move on. And it results over time in appreciable change in your world. in your day-to-day living, not at first, but over time it really does. And so even just to integrate, and I think, by the way, as we're going into higher consciousness, I think a part of what's happening is that we are becoming more accessible to ourselves. Our own hidden realms are becoming more accessible. I don't know, but it's good theory anyway, huh? And so then to take it the next step would be, okay, there's this incarnation. I think, like all of us, I've had snippets and bits of other incarnations flow through. And when you experience them, it's just like you're living them. I mean, you are that. It's a very strange feeling to be two people at once, because you know something of who and what you are in your current incarnation. You live with it all the time. You wake up to it every day. And then suddenly, the one that was the starkest contrast that I can put into words, some of them can't be worded, but I had an experience which I took to be a reincarnation memory. I don't know. We do the best we can with these things. I was a young woman back in the day, and I was watching Jesus ascend. I fell to my knees. I was very distressed by it. I didn't really like it. He was going, and I felt like I needed him. And he was going away. And I was greatly bothered. So I'm experiencing this, all the feelings. It's just exactly as if it was me. But the observer is watching in stunned silence, because this young girl didn't understand much at all of what he taught. She didn't have much of a grasp of it. It was very basic and fundamental. And I remember thinking, how strange, because I was aware of both selves, this one in this incarnation and that one. And it was very strange. Anyway, that was just meant to be an illustration that we have other lifetimes. There's one other one that I accessed one time, and this one, a girlfriend and I were just playing around with hypnosis. There's some rainbows. And we would go back and forth, and we would get what seemed to be other lifetimes, and we would ask and answer questions, but it seemed like maybe we were making it up. So we decided, let's get extreme. Let's really find out. And so she told me to go back absolutely as far as possible. And I still hold those scenes in my awareness. I saw myself as a woman. As I looked at her, she was young, but in her time, she wasn't considered young. Maybe they didn't live as long. It was a civilization that lived by the water. I assumed it was the sea. There was a huge pile of shells. It looked like shells of clams. I mean, it was like, 10 feet high or something. Fairly nearby the water. She was barefooted, wore a loose-fitting garment, a dress sort of a thing. Very simple. And I remember how the questions my friend was asking me didn't compute in this girl's understanding. It couldn't be translated. And there wasn't anything that I could say as her that would make sense to my girlfriend. And I remember how strange that was. How very, very strange not to be able to communicate at all. It was the whole consciousness didn't translate. It's not just a matter of the words being different. The whole awareness, the whole foundation of being, the whole understanding of reality, everything was sufficiently different that there wasn't a way to communicate or access it, at least the way we were doing. Now, I never messed with hypnosis again after that. If I was going to do it, I would try to work with a self-hypnosis. I'm kind of not ready to let other people mess with me that way. But anyway, so we have a richness not only just in the subconscious and the unconscious of this lifetime. We have all those other lifetimes out there, in here. And so what about integrating them? I don't know whether they each have their own subconscious and unconscious, or whether the mind is something that carries through. I don't know. It couldn't be, because for whatever reason, while we're here on Earth, we've chosen not to carry the memories forward. We have access to them between lifetimes, but not generally while we're embodied. And I don't believe memories are carried in the brain. Anyway, excuse me. So there's the integrating that we can do of all of our lifetimes. Even that's not enough. What I go for is, what do we have in common across all those lifetimes? What is it that is the same in the midst of all of those differences? And I'm wending my way back to that. Maybe I'm taking a circuitous route. Maybe it could be accessed directly. If it can, I'm open to that too. But anyway, now I forgot why I was sharing that. I mean, embodiments wasn't the point. It was just a point. I wonder why. I hope it hasn't been freezing up like that a lot. I've got the resolution
too high, maybe trying to capture the beauty of the crystal display on the wall here.
So, I got to tell you, I forgot where I was going to begin with. Does it matter? Okay. You know, I haven't minded playing the fool before. I don't know why I should mind now. I was talking about the changes that have come since turning my focus inward and just watching, and what's been learned by doing that, and what it makes room for. When we're in beta brainwave, when we're in our average everyday mind-centric awareness, it's like the channel is all full of static and we can't hear the heart. I think there's a good reason it's called a still small voice. It's meant for us to be quiet and really paying attention, and to know that that's needs to be our mode of being in order to perceive what's being offered within. We're so multi-layered and multi-dimensioned. I mean, just a couple of dimensions higher, we look back at this, or we look down at this level of 3D, and we kind of laugh and we realize none of this is important. It's really not. None of it. All the substance, all the houses, all the everything is truly inconsequential. And you get to wondering, okay, if that's the case, then why is it we seem to be locked here and stuck? My guess is that we've been raised up enough already. The shift is happening. It's been happening for some time. I'd say the 60s opened the door to it. Harmonic convergence really gave it a big boost, and it's doing nothing but intensifying, accelerating, and intensifying as it goes. And so more and more of us are noticing. I didn't notice way back then. I was a sleeple, I freely admit. But now we're being raised up, and we're pushing against a boundary of the next higher level. I think we've taken 3D as far as it'll go for us. We've used it up. We've played all the different kinds of parts and roles that we wanted to play. It's been a deepening, an expansion by way of a deepening of understanding. Our understanding is much more multifaceted now, and we're ready to move on. And so we begin to perceive the next level, and sometimes to perceive from the next level. Again, if you want to peek at it, I'll try to remember to put a link to my playlist of NDE videos. These people are visiting that level. That's just the next one up, if you will. But all you have to do is leave your body to realize what a restriction it is, how confining of the vastness of your awareness. Now, it can seem frustrating. Let's try to stay away from that. Just keep centering in heart. I think it's mostly, if you've got frustration, that's a mind thing. If you've got boredom, that's a mind thing. Heart doesn't go places like that. Heart vision is truly different. And so as I look at it from heart, I see good things. I see the beauty of the expansion and how natural it is. And what I'm being shown as my focus is turned inward is that we've taken ourselves too seriously. We've taken this dimension too seriously. We've taken everything too seriously. And we need a big lighten up, a big measure of lightening up, stepping back, getting a little distance from it. Being so tightly identified with 3D isn't the most helpful thing when you're trying to rise up above it. And so when somebody comes along and challenges you, and you watch yourself reacting and being snippy or nasty or just not kind, or even feeling that way and not necessarily saying it, know that you're too identified with 3D there. Okay? That's mind. Mind always has to be right. Mind doesn't want to be challenged. Well, you're not your mind. And so these are the kind of things that I've learned that have helped me to let go and to loosen up until I can more and more expand out, because we already are that. That which we want to expand into, we're already there. I mean, it doesn't have to be invented, it exists. Our whole understanding of time is inside out, upside down, and backwards. It's just ridiculous. And so to think that it takes time to get from point A to point B, even, I mean, that works on the 3D level. And if you want to be 3D forever, stay with that. If you want to transcend 3D, then we're going to have to start finding ways to transcend the linearity of it. Just like I think it's very helpful, the Time is Change in the Cloud video by Sacred Sarah will help you get into superposition everywhere. You're already there. That's the magic. That's the secret. That's why you don't have to grow. You don't have to learn. Instead, what you're doing is remembering and reintegrating. And by putting that into your awareness and resting on the fact that, hey, I already am that. All time is one, all space is one, everything is just now, here. In the midst of that, can I be in the midst of that? Can I find myself there? Can I make room for the expansion? If our attention is so focused on the things of this world, of the 3D thing, and of the externals, you're using your free will to crowd this out and to say, no, I don't want to expand. I want to stay here. I want to stay small. I want to stay in time and space. Now, either you want to stay in it or you want to let it go. The thing is, look at it, step back, look at it, and make a choice. From self-awareness, not from habit, not from sleeping. Just like we're making choices of what to believe, this is to make a choice on your perspective and to own the greater part of you. And I don't like these words. They're not good enough, but at least it gets across an idea that's remotely what I'm trying to share here. That we're making choices all the time. Whether we're aware of it or not doesn't matter. The choices stick. Well, let's become more self-aware. And to do that, our focus needs to be inward. Okay. I think it managed to say itself. Good day.